You got to know when the... Oh my God. I just imagine like a red dot on her forehead right now. Going,
Okay, sure.
sorry. Turtle Beach fans, are you guys excited? I didn't hear you guys. These are some of the greatest video game motion capture and voice artists of all time. Let's give them a warm round of applause. Let's go. Much better. I'm just fanboying out being up here. I'm so excited. This is video game greatness right here. For you guys are all very calm. Right now I'm fanboying out. We have Nathan Drake up here. We have the Joker. We have the Claptrap. We have people from Call of Duty. It just doesn't happen like this. I'm so excited you guys are here. And I have the pleasure to introduce Keith Aram, better known as the president of PCB Productions. And what does that mean to you? This guy has produced 7 of the 10 last best-selling video games in the past year. He's brought his wealth of talent with us, and he's going to be our panelist today. Let's give a warm round of applause for Keith Aram.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing? So we have a fantastic panel for you guys today. Thank you for having us. I've been in the industry for way too long, for about the past 20 years. I started out with games like working on Earthworm Jim and Battletech and Demolition Man. And so for the past 20 years, I've worked on over 600 games now. And I've been working on everything from SOCOM and Prince of Persia, Ghost Recon, the Tony Hawk series, and most people know me now for the Call of Duty series. I've done the last 9 games with all of these gentlemen right here. And so one of the things as a talent director is that I've had the honor to be able to work with just some of the most incredible performers in the world. And as a director in games, you really want to surround yourself with just some of the most amazing, strong performers who are smart and flexible and very fast. When we're in the studio, we're recording over 100 lines of dialogue an hour. And when you're in that voice booth, you're doing conversational dialogue, battle chatter, grunts and groans. We're doing motion capture, we're doing facial capture, and you want to have the best in the world who are going to surround yourself doing that. So the focus of our panel today is really talking about the fact that sound counts. And in video games right now, music, ambience, sound effects, and especially voice has just a tremendous emotional and visceral impact on the audience. And I think all you guys know that, and it's really how we perceive our entertainment right now. So today we brought together some of the finest voice talent in the industry, and these guys really represent many of the most loved and feared characters in games today. So we've got a little video for you guys, so take a look. It's us.
It's not a good video.
I think you've probably seen that, right?
The only way to get by this place is to give ourselves some respect. Here, that's how we get respect. Show them all that we do things. Should be fair. This is a place of justice after all. Screw justice, killer, and they'll all fear us.
Ulysses wants to open a communication channel. Arm forward cannons. They'll get the message. Hey, you want a mutiny? Now's the time. No takers? Then fire!
Reloading up. When we're done here, we've never been hit this hard before. Why don't you just do it like that? Shit happens. Say a prayer if that's your way. We're good to go, so let's go get these sons of bitches and do this.
looking at me like, where do I know you from? Let us help you out. Marvel, anti-hero. So yeah, that is a big deal. In fact, Marvel hired the best editors in the world and created an expensive ad trailer at my new game. Live! We took all their money and made our own trailer. Oh yeah!
These guys are the best at what they do. So we're going to do a bit of a signing afterwards. Anyone who wants to stick around afterwards and wants to meet any of these fine gentlemen for about 20-30 minutes afterwards, we're going to have, I think we have a limited amount of cards. We're going to do some signings up here, so come on up and join us and say hello. She's first. And so let me introduce our panel. So sitting next to me right here is my good friend Nolan North. Nolan's arguably one of the most loved actors in our industry. He's one of the craziest, just coolest, smartest performers I know, and constantly surprises me with his range and abilities. You know him as Nathan Drake in Uncharted, and Desmond Miles in Assassin's Creed, Dr. Rick Hoffman in Call of Duty with Zombies, and one of my personal favorites is Deadpool in the upcoming game that we just did together. So, and also if you blink very quickly, you can catch a glimpse of him in a very large motion picture that just came out, General Hospital, which we won't talk about. And what Nolan doesn't know is that every question today he has to answer in a different voice. Troy Baker. Also, Troy and I have been friends for a great number of years, and we've become very close friends. I'm a huge fan of his work because he brings his strength and vulnerability to his performances that just losing his voice. And when you see him mocap, I mean the subtlety and the focus, and it can just come through this huge range of emotion for his characters. Booker DeWitt, Bioshock Infinite, Joel in Last of Us, unbelievable performance. Claire in Saints Row, which is always fantastic, and Troy brings together, I think, just what represents a lot of what we expect in our games right now. James Burns. One of the coolest actors out there. He brings this Clint Eastwood edge with this attitude of Steve McQueen. I just love this man. I've worked with him on several projects. I had the pleasure to work with him on Call of Duty. And he also actually, which we can't talk too much, but he stars in my new film that's coming out next year. And his background behind the microphone and on camera is just incredible. The intensity that he brings to his performances, and as you know him in Call of Duty for Frank Woods, is amazing. And also been doing voices also in Doom and in Dead Space 2 as well, correct? And behind the microphone and in front of the camera, just incredible. Steve Bloom. This is one of the hardest working actors I know. This man does everything. We just work together. He is Wolverine in most and everything, and especially in the new Deadpool game as well.
Anything Hugh Jackman doesn't do.
I don't do Windows or dishes, though.
Starscream, Spike from Cowboy Bebop, from Toonami, and Dempsey in Call of Duty and Zombies as well. And about a third of all the Stormtroopers that you'll ever hear from Star Wars. And David Eddings joining us. And thank you for joining us. And so David is actually a very interesting addition to our panel. Not only a very strong voice actor, but comes from the VP of Business Development at Gearbox. And has the work of Claptrap for Borderlands and Borderlands 2. And so with our panel today, we're going to have some fun. We're basically going to talk about what we love to do and show you guys why we do that. First of all, who wants to start first? Is anyone? I'm just going to pick somebody random. I'm going to pick Nolan. How did you get into games? How did you start?
I don't remember.
I was drugged. I was put in a van. I was molested, but I was okay with it. So, because it was Keith and a couple other directors, and they said, that squeal you made 30 minutes in, could you put that on a microphone? You can record it. I said, yes. And that became Call of Duty 2, big red one. You know, it's, how did you get into voice acting? It's, I've said this before, you're just an actor, and basically whatever the venue is, if there's a check at the other end, you get there on time, and you do your best that you can. So whether it's a microphone or if it's a camera, pardon me. It's a lot of potato. If it's a microphone, if it's a camera. It's all the same. And I'm just happy to continue working. And thanks to everybody out there. Are you support?
It's called upstaging.
So Troy, so before you came out to Los Angeles, were you working in film and doing voice, or where did you start off?
Yeah, there it is. I started off, I was a musician in Dallas, and we were doing our album at this studio that also did a lot of commercial stuff, and I just stumbled back. Would you sign this while I'm talking? So I was in the studio. It's the same thing. And just happened to be the right place, the right time. They were doing car commercials, and so that kind of led into doing other things. And Chris Sabat, if anybody knows Dragon Ball Z, Vegeta, yeah. And that guy was my gateway drug into VO, and he got me started in that. Actually, my first video game was with Gearbox, with Brothers in Arms. I played Matt Baker, and moved out here. And this guy was fortunate or gracious enough to give me a job, and we started doing video games out here, and it's kind of become my bread and butter. I'm just picking up the scraps after this guy. So, yeah, that's my thing.
Well, so James, so you have worked from everything from Transformers. I mean, you have a long career in film and television. How did that translate into working in games, working on Call of Duty?
It didn't. Well, I, like Nolan, was abducted by Keith in a van, and I was grateful for it. Basically, my Call of Duty happened by accident for me. They're looking for a guy to test the technology for performance capture, because it hadn't been done yet. And so the stunt guy who was casting it remembered me from a project we did together. They brought me in. They wanted a guy who could, know how to hold a weapon. His stunt training. He was an actor, and so they offered me the job, and I had no idea what Call of Duty was. I go, Call of what? I called my manager. I go, what the fuck is Call of Duty? He goes, seriously? I go, no, what is it? He goes, this is the biggest game in the world. I go, well, they want me to do something for him. He goes, are you fucking retarded? Take the job. And so 3 months later, we spent 3 months together, and they put it out for a casting call to find the guy to play the game and play the character in the game. And I kept coming back like, can you do it like the guy who tested it? Can you act like him? So finally they figured out we'll just hire the guy. Plus he's cheaper. So that's how I ended up in Call of Duty. It's basically the only game I've ever done, and I may not ever do another one. I think.
I think you'll be back. I think you'll be back. Steve, my friend.
Yes.
So you've done more games than anyone I know. When did you start?
Well, I started as Nolan's parole officer, and when he went straight, which is sort of a... I got cut. It's Nolan's people. See, they're censoring everywhere.
That's karma.
Yeah.
Taste. How does it taste?
He's got a button back there. Don't let him put you. There's no such thing.
Let me answer this one like Steve Bloom. Can I answer this one? As you.
It's my turn. Okay. So I started an anime about 20-something years ago, and video games was just a natural transition for me. My first video game was actually for LucasArts in Full Throttle many years ago.
Great game.
And it was kind of the same process as working in anime, except I didn't have to match lip flaps, so it was just a natural transition for me. And I'm the guy who's willing to scream for 4 hours. I think there are a few of us here that are willing to scream for 4 hours, and I think that's why I work so much, because I have extra organs that will accommodate that.
And David, so tell me a little bit about your experience. How did you get into doing voice acting?
So I'm the only non-professional voice actor up on the panel today. I'm a biz dev guy at Gearbox Software. You guys know Borderlands and Brothers in Arms and those games and so on. So what's funny is Troy and I actually know some of the same people. I went to high school with a voice actor named Kyle Hebert. Been friends with him for years. Lived down the street from Chris Sabat. And neither one of those guys helped me at all. So what I did is I was around the office and somebody suggested that maybe I could play a needy and irritating yet slightly lovable little character, and it was typecasting. So that's how I got it. I have done voices in games actually since about '97. I would do voices for friends of mine. My first game was Sin by Ritual Entertainment, if you remember that. I did a lot of text, grunts, and Marines and so on. And but this is the first time I've ever done anything where there was a breakout character, I guess, and people actually liked it. So yay me!
And what's great is we have such a range of experience on the panel, but some of the guys actually also play a lot of the games that they work on and other things. Troy is a very big gamer. Nolan is a very big casual gamer, which we're not going to talk about his Angry Birds habit, not publicly, and his microphone is dead, so he can't argue with that. But playing a game and working in a game, how do you see that, especially where all you guys are doing lead hero characters and the focal character of a game? How do you see that as a challenge, as a different experience working as the hero? Do you have more dialogue? Do you have less dialogue? How does that change your performance than if, when you're working?
Well, I first thought that...
There we go. I think we've seen like the model of the hero change, especially over like the last 5 years.
I think this one, that one works too. Oh, this is fantastic.
And I think a lot of it really changed with what Nate Drake brought, because we saw a different kind of even reluctant hero, is brash, adventurous guy, but is a very attainable person. And I think that what I try to do, bringing like experience as a gamer to whatever I play, is just having that perception of what pisses me off in a game, and don't do that. So that's kind of one of the things that as a gamer, it kind of gives me a little bit of not an edge, but more of like a perspective if I'm helping to make a game or whatever, is understanding what they're going to try to do with that performance and how that relates to the story and the gameplay, and just what do I want to play? What am I going to want to end up playing? So that's what I do.
And now a lot of you also have a lot of experience doing motion capture, especially this gentleman here. You've done a couple of these Uncharted games I've heard about. Did you do that? So tell me about your experience doing motion capture. I mean, everyone here I think is an actor first, and voice acting, motion capture, facial, all comes out of that. But tell me your experience in getting involved with that.
Yeah, the motion capture is interesting because it's just like going back to theater. Essentially, we got a bunch of the guys that work on our stages for Sony are here today, and yeah, we've had a blast. It was, but you approach it the same way you did. Like I know that you did with Last of Us, the same people. You approach it the same way you approach. You can say theater, where there's very limited props. But the best way for me to explain it is essentially we did what you see kids doing when they're playing make-believe. My sons will be running around playing something ridiculous and stupid because they're not that bright. But the point is, they run outside and whatever that world is that they've created for themselves, it becomes just as real as it does for us when we're on the mocap stage. You have other actors, you're interacting with them just like you would do in an on-camera show, anything like that. And there's really nothing different. I think the difference that you see with gaming is, people, the writers have to lead you into that gameplay through that cutscene and lead you back out so you're playing. Because I said, we have to always remember, like what Troy was saying, this is a game that we're. To answer the earlier question, my biggest goal is to not ruin the player's enjoyment of the game by doing anything too big, too broad in mocap. We have to get over there. You don't want to see the character doing that. You don't have to over-enunciate. You just try to make it as natural as possible, and then the geniuses at the developer's office, the designers, the programmers, they put that all together, and that's essentially what we do here in conjunction with them is what gets you that great experience. And as the technology gets better, I think our performances will have to step up even a little further. The designers have to get a little better. Programmers have to learn the equipment. And it's just, I don't see any end in how this is going to, it's going to become more and more real, until, eventually just, everybody here is going to be in a mocap suit. You're going to be like shooting me, Troy, for real. But hopefully Steve. Everyone should shoot Steve.
I get a lot of that.
So tell me about the reaction to some of the projects you've worked on. So James, I've seen just a tremendous amount of fan response, and David with Borderlands in terms of the fans, and all of us have obviously appeared at conventions and done things. But tell me about your experience interacting with the fans and how they're perceiving entertainment now. You're starting to see games surpassing film, surpassing music, surpassing television, and obviously everything's converging right now digitally, but we're working in a space that's embodying all that.
Well, I think what's happening, my experience so far has been that video game has sort of closed the gap between generations. We're just in Afghanistan on a USO tour, and you have guys who are 19 years old talking about the same things as their 65-year-old commanders, because there's convergence of the mediums. Like, I'll be at a convention, I'll be talking to a 12-year-old kid. He said, "Oh, Mom, it's Woods." And his mom, "No, that's Vaughn from General Hospital." And there's this connection because you have this, you play these roles in TV and film that the parents and they recognize you from. All of a sudden, the kids have the same identification of the same guy, and it has this crossover where the parents are now becoming interested in the game. Well, what is this game? And what is this thing you're doing at 12 hours a day as a kid? And that's it's created opportunities as actors to cross over in the genres. Your viability as a performer in a video game is now translating into your viability as a film actor and a television actor.
Tell me one of the best and worst moments of your career.
Well, worst, Nolan North, yeah. I just, I'm not used to working naked, and Nolan demands that if I'm in the same room. So, yeah. And he always pumps up before I go in there, so it just makes me feel bad about myself. Anyway, what I would say, to add on to what you were saying, I get a lot of feedback from fans about work in video games, and of course there's always been this long battled debate about the effect of violence in video games on the audience. But I've gotten so much positive feedback from all over the world, and in the most surprising places. One being Afghanistan, from these guys who are stuck in these trenches after going out on these horrifying missions all day. The only thing they want to do is come back to their tent and play something like Call of Duty with their buddies, and it gives them a sense of normalcy. And guys have actually expressed to me that it kept them sane and in some cases kept them alive. And to me, that's about the most valuable thing you can do in any sort of media, is to have that kind of effect on your audience. And
I think all of you guys are really become the face of these video games, right? I mean, you're playing the heroes and the villains of these games, and they're the characters that they're identifying with and they're playing with. In some games where you look at something like Saints Row, where you have a character that's actually voiced, or you look in a version of Call of Duty and Black Ops where the character is voiced, but then you have another version where it's not. How do you see that difference where you're playing a character where you're taking the player through that emotional experience? How does that reflect? I mean, how do you find that experience changes the way you perform?
Just when you say that, thing is that I was, to your point about the troops, like only 15% of the troops have combat jobs. Most of them are in support positions, and they're the ones that really have a tough time when they're deployed because it's like an 8-hour day. Then what are you gonna do when you're on a base in the middle of a desert? There's not much going on. So what these games do is it allows them an opportunity to connect back home with friends, with family. The multiplayer versions allow them this interaction that's instantaneous. The campaign versions, my feedback is about Woods is that, especially in Black Ops 1, he's a friend. They spend 100 hours with this guy's voice in his head, and we try to make Woods he focused on opportunity. Woods is not a negative character. He's a hard ass. He swears a lot, but his aim is to show you where the opportunity exists in each moment. Like you'll never have a situation Woods does not feel he can get you out of. And it's reported back to me is that sense of optimism, that sense of forward-looking, problem-solving mentality has gotten some kids through a lot of bad situations. But I find really remarkable because, my God, I'm just making a video game, but it has ramifications far beyond just the idea of shooting guns and running into battle. It allows individuals to identify with positive attributes that you try to bring to the character, to the game.
Yeah, and I think for me, it always depends on the type of character. Deadpool, for example, I just hope you laugh. I mean, it was insane to make. We obviously have Deadpool's voice.
Deadpool's voice right here. Hi, everybody. Okay. I like the one. Where's the chick with the pink hair? She's hot. And then the little guy who sits here on his shoulder's the other part of Deadpool. And then the other one was a little more mature. And we decided we would do the game like that. Rather than do one voice at a time and layer it, just basically he put me in a glass room and said, go skit something. And that's what we did. But in terms of what am I trying to do with that character, it's entertain, make you laugh. The writing was strong. I mean, and we had a ball. And gosh, I think for the outtakes they could make another game, but it would be rated M or X. Yeah, or a lawsuit and they take my kids away. But then, on the other, if you flip that around, Spec Ops, Martin Walker, that was, the goal there was to show how he just descended into madness, and you want to make sure vocally we kind of found that he was going slowly insane.
I hope some of that comes through after his post-process, but there's some nuances that come through, I think. I don't even know if I gave an answer.
Steve, all right, what's your favorite character you've ever done?
My favorite character is Keith Aram. I try to
well.
do Keith as often as possible. It's so hard to pick a favorite. Probably the most recognizable one would be Wolverine.
Talk to us. Tell us a story, Wolverine.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Very nice.
Snicks.
One of the best parts about my job is I just get to sit in a nice, comfortable studio and just let these guys do exactly what they do here, which is fantastic. Jade, I want to hear some Woods.
He's still my favorite character. Yeah. Woods guy. There's Batshit! Where are my smokes? A lot of this stuff. I like Woods from Black Ops 1 though. You see that hind? We're gonna take it. This is Nam, baby. Looks don't count for shit in the jungle. It says Nam, baby. And of course, the last one, it's always, I don't know why people laugh, but you can't kill me! Why do you laugh at that?
So Troy, I don't even know where to start with you. You have such an amazing range, and just when you think that, oh, that's the voice of Troy, and then all of a sudden you surprise us with something new. I want to hear first of all, what's your favorite character? Not even one of these works.
It's like, there it is. The 3-card money. 10. There we go.
Take that
one. You know what? Would you like to use this one?
Hold on. My favorite Troy Baker voice
There we go.
No, my favorite Troy Baker voice, and I know he'll do it because a lot of people always sit there. I know you get Twitter stuff too, but why Troy and Nolan aren't in a game together? Transformers, he did Jazz, which hit Jazz.
Well, that's a very interesting thing that you bring up.
Come on, Jazz, we gotta keep going.
Now, hang on just a second, because the last time you dropped me into a cliff because you're a cliff jumper.
That's right. Come on, we gotta keep moving.
Why are you always trying to get me to move? I like where I'm at right now.
Weren't you in The Shining?
True story. So somehow Nolan and I convinced Activision that we should record our characters together.
No. That was done. That was a big debate. That was something that we had to do individually.
It'll be great because they've got so much like a buddy cop thing, relationship that they've got going on. And meanwhile, Nolan are going, yeah.
Should have taken about 45 minutes. It was like 3.5 hours.
It was.
And so let's try this one.
It was great because the guy that was from Activision was there and he was like, oh, this will be awesome. I'll get great B-roll. We'll be able to set something up and do like a YouTube clip. And he gets all the camera nice and like framed up. And then Nolan and I begin. And it just rapidly devolved into just a morally debased. He's like, I can't use any of this ever. So
what you have to realize is that most of the time when we're working in the studio, we're working one actor at a time, one microphone with the script, and all the conversations and everything that you hear in these games is all done independently, and it's all Frankenstein together in the game. One of the things that we've been working on with a lot of our productions is to do full performance capture together and get all these guys together in the room. And if you think about some of your favorite performances in games, a lot of that comes from the magic because these guys aren't just acting, they're reacting to each other. And you can see that and hear that magic when they're together. So Nolan, I want to hear what a lot of people don't know. Can I talk? This man does. It's a little. I want to hear it. This guy does the best Christopher Walken on the planet. No, not just a Christopher Walken. Everyone here can do a Christopher Walken. He does Christopher Walken.
I've done several of his films where you have to fill in. Sometimes they're not available and they're too expensive, so they get the cheap schmuck to come down and say a few lines. Something like here when they're down low. You gotta do it, Creasy. You don't have to do this. Sometimes I dream I have claws. And I'm slashing the cactuses and other vegetation, whatnot. His hair is gone. Why, I don't know. Sometimes you're a good man. Interesting story about that, though, is that was actually my first video game. He's really, I gotta update things.
I'm trying to update more Jason Statham. That's my new favorite. Because you gotta do this face, because every time he talks, he sounds annoying.
Okay, in this scene, you gotta tell her you love her.
I love you.
Okay, we need a little more heartfelt.
I really love you.
Okay, Jason, let's show a little more compassion.
I love you so much, I won't kick you in the mouth.
That's love. First game I ever did, interesting enough, Activision. In basically like a Saturday, I thought this was a shady deal. It was like a drug deal Saturday, everybody's gone. It was called Interstate 82. Years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but they brought me in to do that Christopher Walken thing to play Hinckley. And it was like, I don't even think it was Union. They snuck me into a back door and they put me in a room and there was a lot of crying and sweating, but we got through it. And that's when I did that. But my favorite character that I put out is, it's an odd one. People don't really know it. I think a lot of people don't know it was me, but in Ratchet and Clank, Cracking Time.
I did Sigmund, and I got to do this voice very much for the whole time, and it was just such a departure from what I usually do, sir. And that's what I really enjoy the most.
So guys, we're gonna wrap up here. We're gonna be doing some autograph signings up here, so I'm not sure where the line is gonna start. I think it's gonna be down on this side, so I'll let these fine people help us organize.